Hey, Twisted listeners, I'm Cindy,
And I'm Diva.
and this is Twisted Listers, a podcast about murder.
And Liz.
And we're back, and better than ever. Woo!
Yeah, back in the saddle, I think.
Yes, we are. We're kicking
Yeah,
ass.
yeah.
New episodes coming out. I don't know what else to say. Yeah, stoked to be back at it.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry for the few weeks that we were down. Um, this is part two of Murders of Southeastern Pennsylvania. This was a listener request and a damn good one. I've been wanting to do Murders of
Mm-hmm.
Pennsylvania for quite some time because there are a lot. It's actually pretty
We could just
surprising.
go to all the Pennsylvanian regions. I mean, I pretty much just did Philadelphia, so
Yeah,
keep branching out.
I kept it close. This next one that I'm doing is in Abington, which is like near Philly, I guess.
Yeah.
Like a suburb kind of situation. So yeah, but pretty excited to go to cover this. Um, any news, any updates, anything we want to talk about?
I feel like there's definitely like important true crime stuff happening all the time, but whenever you ask me that, I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, like when somebody asks you, like, what's your favorite, you know,
Yeah,
album, and you're like, I don't know, what's music? Like, I have no idea what
yeah,
music is.
yeah. You just freeze.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, well, in any case, let's just get to it then, I guess, right?
yeah. Let's do it.
All right. So I'm gonna go first because you went first last time, and that's how we do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna do a case that was specifically requested. This is the case of Morgan McCaffery. This takes place,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, in Abington. And this took place in 2020, so really not that long ago. And we're going to start with Morgan Darlin McCaffery. She was born and raised in, I think, Abington or just right around that area, had a really good relationship with her parents and family, and was a totally normal, happy girl. She had an Instagram that's super cute. She had recently graduated, like in I think June of 2020, graduated high school. She went to an
Mm-hmm.
all-girls Catholic school, high school. Um, there's pictures of her with like her graduation ring and like one of her good friends, and they're wearing like their little Catholic girl outfits. You know, they've got the
Super
plaid
cute. Yeah.
skirt, the blue shirt. They've got like a black cardigan. Like they're matching. Like they're matchy brown
Yeah.
shoes. You know, stylish somehow, even though it's like the ugliest. Like Catholic outfits are so like plain
They're
Jane.
making the best
Yeah.
of it.
But they're yes, indeed. And then there's tons of photos of her with her friends. They all look just like super normal, sweet girls. Um, just living their best life. Lots of tongue out pictures and cuteness. Just
Hmm?
absolute adorable, whatever. Um, in any case, she had graduated. She was going to go off to college, and she was currently a district manager at the time, selling Arbonne, which like it's
Hmm.
not my favorite. I would normally trash talk it. It's kind of a multi-level marketing kind of situation.
Okay. Sure. But I mean, she's like what, a teenager? So that's a
She's
cute thing to do, I
18.
guess.
Yeah, and it's like
Yeah.
I feel like she was going to really go places. Spoiler alert, she's our victim, unfortunately. Um,
Right.
and this was sort of a good foray for her into like the world of business. It shows that she
Yeah.
is really confident, can kind of handle her own shit. Um, so all really, really positive, even though I think Arbonne is like ridiculous. But it's great that
Sure.
she's like doing what she can, to like kind of find her footing, learn to be a business person. She's getting ready to go to college. Like she's not fucking around. Like she knows what she
Yeah.
wants and
She's ambitious. Yeah.
she is ambitious, which I love. So while she's in high school, she starts dating a guy named Gilbert Newton the Third. So Gilbert here.
Hmm. I already don't like him because of the third
Yeah, you never want
thing.
that's
It's
never
never good.
I never love
No.
that. He, at least in the photos that I've seen, was very much like the all-American, football kid. There's pictures of the two of them together, and he's, like I said, I think like in a football outfit. And they were just like a match made in heaven. Like she's super cute, he's like tall and handsome, and they
Sure.
seemed, really, really happy, right? At least at first. So the two of them were together for quite some time. I think over a year, which in, when you're 16, 17 years old is a long time. And
Yes.
as things progressed, he started getting more possessive, more angry, more jealous. Things were not awesome between them. And it got to the
Okay.
point where he was hitting her. And
Hmm.
I don't know how many times he hit her,
Horrible.
once is enough,
Oh yeah.
obviously.
Too much.
Too much. So finally she decides, to break it off with him. And I believe that they had at one point previously, like she had broken it off with him and they'd taken a little bit of like time, they'd taken some time apart. I think they'd stayed in contact because, when you're young and in love, like even when you're like quote unquote breaking up, like there's just always room for the back and forth, like your first big relationship, like big love. Oftentimes it's toxic. I hate to say it. Um,
Yeah.
but there's just a lot of back and forth. And eventually though, they did get back together. And it just got worse after they were back together. It just got worse. My God, my dog is eating my blanket. Stop. No, no, no. He's not even like putting a hole in it. He's just like slobber chewing on it. He's like nursing it. I think it's like a comfort thing. Nobody, go get your toy.
Oh,
Go get your toy, you weirdo.
dogs are
Ugh.
simple.
They really are. Stop. No, no, no.
They're
Stop.
sweet and they're simple.
He's just
Yeah.
looking at me like, what is the problem? No, do not eat our blanket. We sleep under that. It's going to be all slobbery. Uh,
Nice.
anyway, so for a minute, they broke up and they got back together and everything seemed fine. And then it just wasn't. Things went right back to the way they were. It was very violent. He was not cool. So finally, around I think like April or May of 2020, sometime around when she was graduating, she broke it off with him. There's no pictures of him on her Instagram, and her Instagram was, I believe, begun in 2020,
Okay.
which makes sense. But yeah, so I think by the time she had kind of put her Instagram together, things were already kind of over between them. Gilbert was not stoked on this. He was not really accepting this, and he was constantly texting her and asking her to get back together. And
Okay.
what he would do is he would be real sweet with her. And then once he
Hmm.
realized like it wasn't working, he would threaten her and call her names and say
Classic.
terrible things. Yeah. So please give me
Yeah.
what I want. If you're not going to give me what I want, I'm going to tell you how much I hate you. Right.
It's just an abuser's like playbook.
It
Yeah,
really
like
is.
textbook.
Yeah, it really is. So they're going back and forth and back and forth. Finally, like Morgan is serious here and she blocks him. She blocks him on social media, she blocks him on her phone. She
Good.
she refuses to allow him access to her anymore. And he then, and I don't have a lot of information about this kid's like life growing up, but I do know that if you're a third, then you're probably mommy's special little angel and the pride of the family.
Yes.
So what this
Yes.
guy Gilbert here started doing was texting his mom. And these texts come up
Mm.
later in the scheme of things they come up. And he's texting her, please call Morgan. Please call her. Please beg her to talk to me. Please just tell her to unblock me. I just want to talk to her. And his mom, and he's saying things to his mom like, I swear to God, if it's over, I'm gonna fucking stab her. I'm gonna fucking kill her. This is what he's saying to his mother. And his
He
mother
doesn't. Oh,
is
maybe.
like,
Wow.
yeah, and his mom is like, there you go, getting like violent, like getting worked up ahead of time. Like, you can't act like that. And he's like, but if she doesn't get back together with me, I'm gonna fucking kill her. And his mom, instead of being like, you need help, let me get you the help you need, calls Morgan. calls her like 4 times, and Morgan ignores her and refuses to answer the phone. And so this pisses him off more. So finally, Morgan, I think, reaches out to him and is like, I need you and your mom to stop harassing me. Like, this is crazy. It's over. I don't want us to be together anymore. And
Yeah,
that's
you get a sense of how he came to be the piece of shit that he is
yes,
with
because
parents like that. Yeah.
mommy's helping him out.
Mhm.
So I know. So, things kind of continue. He finds out that she's seeing another guy. She has fully moved on. She's like, it's time for us to move on.
Yeah.
Dude and I
Good.
are seeing each other, like, we're over. Gilbert is not happy with this. So he tells his mom, I swear to God, if she's really seeing this other guy, I'm going to stab her in the neck 57 times. He says, I'm really going to kill her. So he saw her on social media with a new guy.
What more do you need? He's like making it very clear.
Yeah. Yeah. So he says that I'm really going to kill her.
Going to kill her.
I'm
Mhm.
gonna stab her in the neck 57 times. So
Okay.
his mom is like, you're being dramatic, knock it off. Still trying to reach out to Morgan. Finally, Morgan hits him up and
Mm.
is like, hey, I have some of your things. I'd like to give them back to you. You know, when can I give them back to you? And here's the
Yeah.
thing. Here's the thing. I don't think anybody took it seriously. Like, I don't think she thought, even though he was like hitting her and saying he's going to kill her, she's 18 years old. Like, 18-year-olds don't understand the gravity of situations quite often, which is another reason why I think, putting children in prison forever, giving them the death penalty is not a good idea. Because even though they're adults,
Correct.
they're not necessarily able to understand the full weight of what's going
But
on
are they
around them.
really? Yeah.
Right.
Not.
They're not really.
Yeah.
No. I don't think you're an adult till you're 45. So like you and I are still not adults.
No. I mean, but there's also like evidence that your brain's not like fully done developing till you're like 23 or
Yeah.
24 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like that's when it's like, okay, at that point you should know better.
Yeah.
And you understand the full gravity of what's going on. So I don't think that she really understood. His mom should have understood, but obviously his mom is part of the problem. So he's like, yeah, I can meet up with you to get my stuff back, whatever, whatever. And she's like, okay, great, let's meet up. She unblocks him basically to text him. And then he kind of asks her, are you seeing another guy? And she ignores him. So he keeps kind of texting her, and she's like, finally, she's like, yeah, I am. It's not really any of your business. He's like, are you having sex with him? And she's like, it's not any of your business. Like, we're not together anymore. Do you want to meet up? So he's like, yeah, let's meet up. So July 27th at like 7:30 a.m., they agree to meet up at the train station. They're going to meet up in the parking lot of the train station. And, I don't understand why. Like, she originally was like, let's meet at like a park. And he's like, no, I want to be somewhere private so we can talk. And she agrees. And again, this isn't her, I don't think, wanting to continue the drama. She had blocked him, she'd stopped talking to him. I think this is just her having the judgment of like a regular 18-year-old. So they're texting each other like the night before that they're going to meet up. And at 7:30, she texts him and she's like, I'm here. Where are you? And he's like, oh, I overslept. I'm really sorry. Like, I'll be there, soon. And she's like, you've got like 10 minutes, bro. So they're
Yeah.
texting and she's telling him, you've got 10 minutes. And she's telling him, you need to get here. And then she says to him, like, oh, there's a guy at this parking lot. And he's like, okay, well, let's meet around the back. And so or let's meet somewhere else. So they go they drive to another location near the train station and they meet up there. Now, before he left, Gilbert here put 2 knives from his kitchen into his pockets, into the pocket of his hoodie. So they meet up and, he starts asking her the same questions. And there's a camera. There's like a full camera that can see her car clear as day, can see her, can see him. And he's asking her, what's going on with you and this guy? And she's like, I'm not going to answer you. It's none of your business. Let me go get your stuff. So she gets out of the car, goes into the back of the car, grabs his stuff, comes, sits back down in her car, and hands him his stuff. Now, everything that happens from here on out is according to this motherfucker. So he said
Okay.
that he's like talking shit to her. He calls her a whore. And in response, she hits him in the face. Now, according to him, that's what happened. And if you look
Mm,
at his arrest photo, because this dumb bitch does get arrested, you can see that his mouth has a wound on it. Um, but that could have been at any point during the altercation,
Yeah, who
right?
knows when that happened? I kind of doubt that she hauled off and hit
And
first.
hit him
This
first, right?
probably this is probably in self-defense.
Right. He also said that
Yeah.
she spit on him. And I'm like, I
Mm-hmm.
don't believe you. I don't believe any of this.
He's trying to set it up so he looks like,
Just
he's reacting.
reacting to her.
Yes,
He's reacting to her
clearly.
aggression.
Yeah.
Right. So then he says, or, again, according to him, I pulled out the knives and I just started stabbing. And I blacked out, blah, blah, blah. Of course, he blacked out. And I don't remember what happened. And I'm just like, okay, dude, like, are you
Mm-hmm.
fucking kidding me?
It's like copy and paste. We've heard this 1,000 times.
Right. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah. So he says he stabs her, a bunch. And then he leaves and he drives away in his car, leaving her dead in her car. She's dead. Like, she's been stabbed a
Oh
lot.
my God.
And he goes to
Wow.
his friend's house and he texts his mom and he says, about an hour ago, I murdered Morgan about an hour ago. Like, it's not your fault, mom. I just couldn't do it anymore. I have
Oh
evil
my God.
thoughts and I just can't stand it. So his
Yeah.
mom convinces him, to turn himself in. She calls the police. They go to the train station and they find Morgan. She has been stabbed mostly in the neck, just like he said he would. She's been stabbed over 30 times. So, getting up to where he said he would. And she has defensive wounds on her arms and hands, which means obviously she was fighting back. And, she's pronounced dead at the scene. So they arrest this motherfucker, and he starts immediately with, you know, I was going there to kill myself. I didn't intend to hurt her. And of course, I was just reacting to her being violent against me, which is
Mm-hmm.
fucking bullshit because look at this, just the weeks of text messages to her, to his mom, all saying, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to stab you. I'm going to kill her. I'm going to stab her. I'm going to stab her in the neck, which is what
Yeah.
he fucking
Oh,
did.
what a murder mystery. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
uh,
So he was arrested and charged with first degree murder. He
mhm.
went to, trial. And I believe is in 2021, it took a jury less than 3 hours to come back with a
I was gonna
guilty
say
verdict.
5 minutes. Like
Yeah.
this should be
Yeah.
like boop boop boop.
I th-
Okay,
I think they wanted to pretend that they were giving his sort of like self-defense, which it wasn't even.
right. I mean, you have to review everything like with a minimum of like attention just to like do the process. So
Yeah, and I think they had the option of giving him like second degree murder, but it's like, bro, you told hold on. No! My dog is destroying his hoodie. No! Stop! Go get your
not
toy.
the hoodie.
Dude, this dog is insane. He just thinks he can chew the shit out of anything. Stop. And I like can't get up and give him his toy because we're recording. Anyway, the jury could have chosen second degree murder, but obviously they went with first, and they gave him life in prison. Now he could have, I believe, in Pennsylvania been given the death penalty, and I don't know if he was given without parole, but I do know that he was given a life sentence at, 19 years of age, which kind of fine, like this is crazy. And he had all the time to get the help he needed. His mom could have helped him. Nobody chose to help him. He didn't choose to help himself.
Yeah.
And he fucking murdered this like beautiful, happy, gonna be very successful young woman.
Yeah. For
Totally
fucking
fine.
just yeah, just a classic like little incel boy rejection
Yeah.
motive that
Yeah.
we've seen so many times.
Yep. So, her family put together a nonprofit called Morgan's Light. This is
Mhm.
something that is for victims of domestic violence, domestic abuse, young girls, so that they can
Mhm.
learn, how to get out of these situations, how to recognize when they're being abused or when they're going to be abused, and how to get away from that before it's too late. And I think that's a really
Yeah,
beautiful thing that they do, and they are definitely like still up and running and helping people in their community and beyond, which I think is a really beautiful way of honoring Morgan's legacy. Very
it is.
fucking sad. And
It's fucked up.
yeah, fuck this guy, this abusive piece of shit. So fuck him. There we go. That's my story.
Stupid piece of dog shit. The third.
Dog shit. Yep. 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 All right. Your
Oh my
turn.
God. So I'm like very anxious to talk about this, not in a bad way, but like
Hmm.
you know what I picked.
I
I
do.
mean,
I know. We're gonna scream.
I just drank a bunch of caffeine this morning, and now I'm going to tell you about the move bombing in
Okay,
Philadelphia.
great.
Um, I knew about this quite a bit, but like all the investigation extra I did, like to reveal more things, that little details I didn't know, was like, whew, like to say this is an angering story is like really underselling it. I can't even. Let's just yell. Let's just yell.
Okay,
Let's just have a like a cathartic scream it out moment this morning.
let's do
I
it. I'm down.
and I get to yell about museums as well, so that's kind of why I picked
Oh,
this.
fun.
There's a museum aspect to this.
Awesome.
Big, it's like half of the story. Also, we don't pick like murder by cop very often, but I felt like this was a
A
pretty
good one.
a good
Yeah.
yeah, a time where I'll break that rule. Um, I mean, it's not really a rule. We've done it like
No, we have. We
sporadically,
have.
but
Yeah.
yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah. So, so the Black Liberation Advocacy Group MOVE was founded in the early 70s by John Leapart,
Mm-hmm.
who renamed himself formally John Africa.
Okay.
His followers in the MOVE group all took the last name Africa. They all wore dreadlocks, and they all followed his basically anti-establishment teachings. And like basically, it's a Black radical like liberation group. They live together in kind of communal living spaces. So it's like you could say it's a little culty, but it's actually more akin to like their contemporaries, the Black Panthers, over on the West Coast.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
As I think it just looks more culty because of the dreadlocks, perhaps, but it's pretty much like the Black Panthers in Philadelphia edition,
Okay.
very similar politically,
Mm-hmm.
in all regards, and very anti-establishment, and
Gotcha.
not afraid to resist with arms, as we'll see.
Right.
So they're not a nonviolent like MLK group; they're like a Malcolm X group.
They're more militant. They're militant,
Yeah,
is what you're saying.
yeah.
Got it.
Yes.
Got it.
Um, and as we know, the administrations that be are
Mm-hmm.
really scared of Black people with
Yeah.
like radical liberation ideology and guns. That's like
Mm-hmm.
very scary to them.
Yep.
Um, Only white people can have guns, right?
Yeah. That's why the NRA
Um,
lobbied against it in California, was to disarm the
yes.
Panthers.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Oh yeah.
So in 1978, members of the Africa family, so the slash move group here, were imprisoned after the home that they shared with other members was besieged by police in Philadelphia. A standoff followed in which one police officer was killed, and 9 members of the group were sent to prison for this cop's murder, as if they all did it kind of collectively, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and from here on out, one of the key issues taken up by the group, I mean, I'm sure that it was already, but is police brutality. They kind of focus on that, and they focus on getting these other members out of prison. And it's taken up so much by this group because the people sent to prison were said to be it was unjust that they were convicted, because many witnesses, including all the group members, of course, say that the cop was shot by fellow cop friendly fire in the shootout. And then they just use that as an excuse to convict all of these people.
Right. Right.
So, yeah, so that's kind of the background. There's already been this like one siege
Mm-hmm.
of the house. And they've already kind of, and they officially reclassify a move as a terrorist organization, by the way, after this one cop dies.
Okay.
So again, because they laid siege to the house first
Mm-hmm.
and then a shootout ensued.
Right.
So all important things to remember. So here we are, it's 1985. Members and their families lived at an apartment on 622 6221 Osage Avenue in West Philadelphia. It's a middle class, largely Black neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yes, it's a bunch of row houses, which I'll talk about. And there's a lot of fear mongering in the neighborhood about this group. So there's rumors circulating at the time that they walk around naked, they throw their shit in the street. There's kind of like this sort of perception that they're like animalistic or less than the other Black people in the community because of their like beliefs. And there's a
Right.
perception that property values, gasp, are going down in the area because they're there.
Of
So
course.
whether it's really like to what extent it's true or not is debatable, but basically there's like there's a lot of white and then like maybe middle class black outrage of like, oh no,
Right, because
they're
also in the
here.
end it is a class war that we're dealing with. They
Yes.
just like to break it up into like racial lines and other lines to divide all of us. But in the
And I'm sure
end,
the reception of the Panthers was very similar, I'm sure,
for sure. Oh, I'm sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
So a plan is developed by the Philadelphia police to go in and quote unquote evacuate the house on Osage Avenue
Mhm.
and basically drum up a bunch of charges, which I'll tell you about in a second, for all these people, and then quote unquote evacuate them. Like we're just going to end this house and the people in it.
Right.
This is all led by a real piece of shit named John Rizzo, who's a police commissioner. And there's a couple like leading guys who I won't like bother identifying with. They're all pieces of shit.
Yeah.
Um, the whole neighborhood is evacuated except for the house, so all the other residents of like the surrounding several blocks
Mhm.
are moved out, and the residents take note that they tell the residents they'll be able to come back in 24 hours.
And what do they do with them?
No clue. It's probably like just like find your own like place to stay. I doubt they they
Do
didn't get them
anything to
hotels or
help them?
anything.
They're like,
No,
just get
no,
the fuck out of
no.
here.
Get the fuck out of your house. Yeah.
Fucking ridiculous.
The police got warrants for 4 members in the house for just kind of light things like contempt of court, some guns charges, parole violations, one for one person making terroristic threats, which was allowed because again they were classified as terrorists.
Okay.
In on May 13th, here we are, at like 4 or 5 a.m. ish, a force of 500 cops arrived to quote unquote clear the house. And
500?
it's a army of cops.
That's
Okay,
fucking
because
ridiculous.
the white cops, because one cop died, I guess, in 1978, but
Mhm.
because of who these people are, because they're like black people with guns and like
Mhm.
dreadlocks,
Ugh.
the white Philadelphia administration really well we'll see. We'll see
Okay.
how what they want to do. So 500 cops show up. The police commissioner gives a speech to start the siege, which is very performative. You'll like how it begins. He says, "Attention, move. This is America. You have to abide by the laws of the United States."
What the
Okay.
fuck?
It's very, very grandiose speech. At the end, he says you
That
have
just
15
sounds
minutes to cut.
dumb. I'm
It's really dumb.
sorry.
At
Yeah.
the end, he has 15, tells them that you have 15 minutes to come out, which they do not. And just like in 1978, an armed standoff with police ensued for about 90 minutes.
Okay.
During this time, the police shot tear gas canisters into the apartment to try to flush them out,
Mhm.
as well as 10,000 rounds of ammunition.
The fuck?
Yeah. Um, by 2 p.m., this starts like at 5 a.m. By 2 p.m., the police commissioner ordered that the police department bomb the row house.
How many people are inside of it?
I believe 11.
And they're just gonna
Half of
bomb
those
this fucking
people are
house?
children.
Like,
Half of
what
those
the
people are
fuck?
children.
What the fuck?
Children.
Why?
Um, yeah.
So they're gonna bomb this entire house. They have 500 cops for essentially like 5 or 6 adults.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Their charges are what? Like parole violation, like really light shit.
Yeah,
Like
like what the fuck?
even if this was a house full of serial killers, I cannot imagine that bombing choice ever being a
Like
thing. Like it's just
acceptable or
no, like
yeah,
that's
that's
just fucking
insane.
wild. Yeah, like I'm sure the tear gas has been done or whatever, but like that is fucking wild.
Ugh.
Holy shit. Yeah, so there's inside the building were 7 adults and 6 children. So
That's
just keep that in mind.
that's fucked up. That's fucked up.
Yeah. Um, so they fucking take a police helicopter up in the sky and they drop 2 compound satchel bombs full of fucking C4
Oh my god.
onto this row house. And the house is a small row house, and I'll tell you in a second that not just this house burnt, the entire neighborhood burnt down.
Yeah, of course
Because
it did, because that's a
you
fuck
can't
ton of
just
C4.
use incredible bombs like this and expect it to only burn down one house. They knew what they were doing. They knew the whole neighborhood would burn. And I'll specifically pick a picture of the neighborhood from above for the Instagram post, but like it's not exaggerating or hyperbolizing to say this neighborhood looks like contemporary pictures of Gaza. Like
That's fucked.
it's
That's fucked.
leveled. It's completely
That's
leveled.
insane.
The entire neighborhood. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
As the house was burning, the people, including the children, were hiding inside in the basement under wet blankets, and they actually survived that way for a lot of the fire.
Wow.
Um, yeah. Uh, so they initially, by the way, claimed stupidly
Uh-huh.
claimed that the bombing was just to get the move members out of the house and that they would kind of supplement it with tear gas just to flush them out. But I'm going to call bullshit on that right away. That was not the intention.
Yeah,
The
no.
intention was
No.
to bomb them to death. Like that was
Right.
to make sure they're dead. That was not the intention was not to flush them out at this point. Um,
No. No.
yeah. The fire had burned actually for 90 minutes before the survivors even attempted to escape because again they were trying to like hunker down in the basement. Um, but they did. They eventually tried to escape and leave. And what happened? This is where things get insane. The police shot at them, these children.
At children?
Yep.
What the fucking fuck?
As they were trying to leave the house, the adults yelled, "Kids coming out." And the children were crying and yelling, "I want to leave."
Oh my
And
God.
and crying for their lives, and these cops are shooting at them.
That's fucking classy as fuck. That's like just quintessential cop right there. Like that's
30 minutes in yeah, 30
ugh,
minutes into the fire, by the way, firefighters arrived and were like, "Hey, this is our job. Could we stop this fire maybe?"
Jesus
And the
Christ.
police ordered them back
They
and
were like,
said,
no, you
"Don't."
can't help them. You cannot
Yes.
put this fire out. We're not done killing these people.
Yes, literally. And they
Ugh.
claimed that they couldn't go in. The firefighters couldn't go in because of gunfire, so it was too dangerous to the firefighters. Guess what? The gunfire was them shooting at children.
Oh my God. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yep. Yep.
Fuck these
Um,
monsters. Absolute fucking monsters.
so in addition to
Ugh.
yeah, the 11 people out of the 13 that were in the house were killed.
So including a bunch of fucking kids.
Half of them were children. Yeah.
God damn it.
And 61 neighboring homes were completely obliterated by the fire, and 250 people were left homeless.
That's fucked up. Fuck that shit.
Yeah.
God
Yeah.
damn it.
Whew, if you think you're angry now, just wait.
Oh
Just
great.
wait.
Oh great.
Just wait. It only goes worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. So the city government, which were themselves super complicit, of course, and like
Of
sanctioned all of
course.
this
Yeah.
after the fact when everyone's outraged are like, oh yeah, sorry. So they issue a commission, a move commission to come back with an official report. So they investigate basically everything I just said of like, oh yeah, this was fucked up, this was unnecessary.
Mm-hmm.
In 1986, they come back with their official findings that it was fucked up. They call their dropping of bombs on a residential neighborhood "quote unquote" unconscionable, like completely inexcusable, no matter
Yeah.
what someone did. Um, like I said, the bombing is a wild fucking choice. Like no matter what they did,
Yeah, that's fucked up. That's
that is
fucking
wild.
insane. Yeah.
Um,
Mm-mm.
the mayor had to do a formal apology, and that's about where it ends. No charges are filed, and no one has ever really been punished on the city or the cop side. And a
Seriously?
lot of the cops, correct, and a lot of the cops who made the call and who dropped the bombs and who did that entire thing were exempt because of qualified immunity. Cindy.
Wow. So that's just
Mm-hmm.
it. That's just it.
Yeah, qualified immunity, if you don't know what it is, it should make you really mad because it means that cops can literally come in your house and murder your whole family and they'd be like, "Meh, meh, meh, I have immunity," and like it's fine.
I'm allowed to do that.
Um,
Prosecutors also have it, there's
yes, they can
absolutely
do anything they want.
there's no justification for that. I can understand how people could argue that cops should have that. They fucking shouldn't.
Right.
But I can at
Mm-mm.
least understand to a point, like how that might possibly make sense. But for prosecutors, there's no excuse. Like, oh, we're just allowed to lie. Like, what? Why? Like, what? Okay, anyway, I'm so sorry. Continue. I apologize, but like,
So
god damn it.
yeah, so um, no one in the city ever gets punished, but a few surviving MOVE members were charged for riot and conspiracy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's unclear to me if that was related to previous charges, but I think this is actually for the night, for like firing back at cops. I think this is actually for whatever they did that night. And so Ramona Africa, I believe, one of the survivors of this
Mhm.
assault, is sentenced to 7 years in prison.
What?
I'm sorry, I'm laughing because this is so fucking horrible.
So fucked up. So
She
fucked
survives
up.
this fire, and she gets a jail sentence. Yeah.
That's god damn it. That's insane.
Yep. Yep.
That's
Yep.
insane.
Yep. So a couple lawsuits happened. 3 lawsuits were filed on behalf of the estates of the victims, including John Africa. And again, a lot of people got off on qualified immunity. A lot of people couldn't be prosecuted,
Mhm.
but they did have one victory in 1996 when a federal jury ordered the city of Philadelphia to pay a $1.5 million civil judgment to the survivor, Ramona Africa, and the relatives of 2 of the victims, the 2 estates. So again, there's a lot of I'm not going to go through every single ruling because it's really angering, but like there are multiple different judges ruling against these families also, like that they don't have a case. Like
Of
that literally
course.
happens.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, god. I don't
Yeah.
it's too early for this, diva. Too fucking
So
early for this
angering.
shit.
I haven't even
Ah!
gotten to the part that I'm gonna like hyperventilate about.
Are you kidding me? Like,
No,
what
no,
is
no. We're so
what can
okay.
possibly be left? Don't ask.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
Okay. All right, I'm ready.
Okay. 2005, a federal jury awarded a big group of the people who were displaced and made homeless
Uh-huh.
a shared sum of $12.83 million. So
Great.
the city's paid out a lot of money because of this fuckery, at least.
Yeah, but of course it just
Um,
comes from the tax dollars of the people.
yeah,
So that's
yeah. I
cool.
remember when I was talking a few weeks ago that the police budget is like 90% like paying out lawsuits sometimes.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Um, yeah.
Oh,
2020, the Philadelphia City Council in 2020, the
2020.
Philadelphia City Council approved a resolution to formally apologize for the MOVE bombing and saying we done fucked up, and made the anniversary a day of reflection,
Reflection.
which
Reflecting
that's
on how to
cute.
better not get caught next time, probably. Fucking pigs.
Yeah,
Ugh.
yeah. I'm not sure. Okay, so I believe this is in 2020. I'm not sure if it's before or after that formal apology. I think it's probably before.
Mhm.
Um, and please tell me, well, I'll be able to tell if you know about this part
Mhm.
or not. I think you must know.
Okay.
Um, but in 2020, deep breath, Diva, it comes out that the remains from some of the victims of the bombing, specifically 14-year-old Tree Africa and 12-year-old Delisha Orr, these are 2 little girls,
Mhm.
were in the Penn Museum. Do you know about this?
Oh, my whole body just got like covered in fucking goosebumps. What?
I'm going to tell you about
What?
it. I'm going to tell you about it.
I that actually made me feel sick. I
It
haven't
should.
had a reaction like
That's
that.
correct.
Like,
That's correct. That's correct. Um, okay, so Cindy doesn't know, so I'm going to tell you about this. And I work in museums, and if I haven't mentioned it yet, I'm a curator, and so I have really strong opinions about this. Okay,
what
so
the
let me tell you
fuck,
about it.
dude?
Let me tell you about
Oh my
it.
god.
So their remains had been held by 2 professors of anthropology, Alan Mann at Princeton and Janet Monge at the Penn Museum.
Okay.
The family found out about this in the news. They had no idea where their family's remains were.
Oh my god. They just weren't given because they were keeping them?
I'm going to tell you about what happened. So the city had said that they were unclaimed.
Okay.
So that's what the museum people thought. Does not excuse it, and I'll talk about that.
Yeah.
But the city said they were unclaimed by the family. But after some public pressure, the city's health commissioner, who had to resign in 2021, he admitted that basically the family was told nothing. And in 2017, he ordered that the remains be cremated and disposed of without telling the family.
Holy
He admitted
fuck.
that. He
But
admitted that he
did they
did
do
that.
it? They cremated them?
So I guess disposing of them meant give them to a university
What the fuck?
through some insane chain of custody, which I'm not even going to get into. They've made their way to Janet Monkey's office, where she kept them in a box
What the
on a
fuck?
shelf in her office and showed them to multiple people.
Why?
And Janet Monge, here's where I lost my mind this morning. Here's where I lost my mind. Um, at 7 a.m., I'm reading about this and and watching this video and I lost my mind.
Fair.
So Janet Monge, this professor and this curator, used the remains in a fucking online course called Real Bones: Adventures in Forensic Anthropology.
No. No.
Yeah. And I thought in my mind, okay, like I had this sort of like line of thought in my mind going, okay, well maybe they're just unclaimed human remains. So maybe I was giving them the benefit of the doubt and thinking maybe they don't know the whole story. Maybe they just think that they're like remains of a young girl from some such unclaimed people, right?
Right. Right. Which if people like
Anonymous
donate
people.
themselves to like,
Yeah.
science or whatever, like great.
Yeah.
Do the thing.
I thought maybe they're just an anonymous, unclaimed girl, and
Right.
that's what she thought she had, right?
Oh my God.
And then I watched the part of the video, which you can go see on Democracy Now's YouTube page.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched part of this video, and no, there's Janet Monge in front of a whole PowerPoint about the move bombing, and I lost my mind. I
Oh
lost
my
my mind.
God.
I lost my mind. I was like, oh no, she knew exactly
Ugh.
what these remains were from. She knew the story of the move bombing. She had a PowerPoint.
Mm-hmm. Great.
Um, and she's in a video in a class,
Uh-huh.
holding these bones, talking about the soft tissue, the flesh remaining on them, all kinds of grisly details,
Good God.
uh, and handling them. And I'm like, here's the thing: if you had these remains, already terrible. You already shouldn't. You
Yeah.
already should
Sorry
be.
to know.
Any good ethical curator should already be looking into how can I give them back.
Right.
But at the very bare ass minimum, you should not be displaying them or using them.
Right. Absolutely.
It's already horrible enough that you have them. You should
Wow.
not be putting them on display, like,
What a fucking
ever.
dickhead.
Like,
Right.
holy shit, she's a dickhead. Holy shit. Like, I couldn't believe
Wow.
that. Um, she was also the curator, by the way, of the Morton Cranial Collection, which around this time was found to have over 1,000 skulls of enslaved people. And you know how they were retrieved, Cindy? They dug them up from their graves.
So she just doesn't view them as people. She doesn't view these people as people. She doesn't fucking care.
I mean, here's the thing. If you are like sitting there listening and you're like, wow, museums have human remains, boy, do I have a reading list for you because holy shit, they do. Lots of them do. It's a huge problem. You can look up a lot of different things about it. And there's a specific thing with Black and Indigenous remains, which I won't get into because we need like 8 hours. But
Mhm.
I will say there's a specific thing with their heads.
So
There's
weird.
collections of heads that happen from the 19th century on, or actually before that on.
Mhm.
And it is so like, if you stop and think about it, like, it's no different than like Jeffrey Dahmer. Like, we're talking about serial killer behavior,
Right.
like
Right.
head collecting.
Is fucking bizarre. And the othering of people so much that you don't even see them as like human.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're just like a
You
specimen
were
and
never
it's
going to
like
have a cranial collection, quote unquote, with any white people in it. No, you
no.
will not.
Fuck no.
Um,
Fuck no.
and these are often super recent, like indigenous graves are dug up in the early 20th century. In the 50s, 60s, indigenous graves are dug up from earlier in the 20th century.
God,
You know what I
dude.
mean? So sometimes we like to put a historical distance, but it's like, no, these are all like recent, you know? There's a famous story of a Yaqui group of people, indigenous people from like the early 20th century, and those Mexican indigenous people, all their skulls, including children's skulls, were taken to the American Museum of Natural History, and they weren't given back until like 2005. You
God
know,
damn it.
the
Dude.
stories go on and on and on and on, and like there's photos with like European monarchs and nobles in like the 50s and 60s, not even that
Mhm.
long ago, with a fucking like throne around them of skulls, like displays
Yeah.
of skulls. And
Yeah.
I'm like, if you take the science gloss away, this is just Jeffrey Dahmer behavior.
Yeah,
Like
just straight
they
up.
are just collecting heads.
Just
They're collecting
collecting them.
heads.
I want another human head. Like,
Um,
that's fucking weird, man. That's
yeah,
fucking
yeah,
bizarre.
but it's for science because they're fucking black and brown people. Okay. Um, oh my god. Any museum of anthropology, any ethnography museum or anthropology museum, like I'd say 90% of them are sus. Like it's very hard to find one with ethical like
Yeah,
orientations. And like I said, at the very minimum, the ethical curators are not displaying them,
right,
not using them, and they're trying to give their remains back. Like
right,
they're actively working on it.
right,
That's the best thing you can do.
right.
Um,
But the fact that they
so
have
it
them to
gets
begin with is insane. But okay,
it's
sorry, go ahead, go ahead.
insane.
I know
It's
we got off
insane.
topic.
No, I could get off so off topic. Okay, so after this news came out, Penn issued a formal apology, and finally, after some stupid legal processes back and forth,
Hmm.
in August, I actually have 2021 and 2022, but let's say by 2022, finally, all of the remains were given back to the family.
Okay.
Um, uh, and so I still have a lot of questions.
Yeah,
Um,
fair.
Professor and curator, like I said, Janet Monge was later confirmed to be no longer employed at the museums. I
Good.
don't know that she lost her emeritus status. She should have, because that's a big fuck you. So she
Yeah,
should have lost that.
yeah.
She also, this is a kind of proof she's an asshole. Janet Monge, if you didn't have it already, but Janet Monge also, I guess, sued Penn for like defamation of her character, which, like, bitch, you did that.
You did that.
Um,
All they did was like say, "Hey, look at what you did. That's not cool." Like, come on.
yeah, yeah,
Well, I got in trouble. Like,
yeah,
if it is, like, it's the consequences of my own actions. That's not fair. Like, no, bitch, it's fair as
yeah.
fuck. Fuck you.
There's also still a question out there whether all the bones were actually returned. A
Mm,
legal team hired by the University of Pennsylvania stated that the bones of Delisha Orr were never at the Penn Museum, so there might even still be some bones out there.
out
Who
there.
knows?
Goddamn.
Um, but yeah, fucking why? Like, here's my number one question: why though? Like,
Yeah, 100% why?
why were these? Why did they ever make it to a museum? Like, if they're unclaimed remains, why not that then just put them in a grave
Right.
somewhere, like
Or yeah, I
some kind of grave?
mean, do what you do when they're white people, you know? You don't just
Yes,
display them
yes.
and you know what I mean? Like,
Oh my
we have
god.
alternative options for handling this. That's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
yeah, yeah. Like if a prisoner's, remains are unclaimed, for example, or something, like they
Mhm.
just put them in some kind of grave.
Yeah,
Like
unmarked usually or
there
just whatever. Yeah.
something that's better. That's
Yeah.
definitely better. Anything is better than this.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, science museums, anthropology as a discipline has been doing this to black and brown bodies for hundreds of years. And this happened at a moment too when there was like kind of also I'll say like a peak kind of flashpoint of anger over
Mhm.
museums having human remains already, and then this happened, and like
Right. Then it came out during
people,
that time.
yes,
Yeah.
and then like curators and museum world people like me lost our minds. We
Yeah.
were like, holy fucking shit, like
Yeah.
that's insane. Like we
It
know
is.
about like, yeah, and to me, what I didn't know is how they were like used, quote unquote. Like I was
Right.
picturing these
Right.
like so many other, remains that are in some deep dark vault, and the museum doesn't want you to know that they have them.
Right.
But the fact that she's in a whole ass video, like handling them, I lost my mind. Like
Yeah. What
that
a
was
fucking piece of
that I didn't know that.
shit.
Um,
Ah!
it's insane. It's insane. And by the way, there's lots and lots of cases, like I said, of super recent,
Mhm.
um, recently dead black and brown people in museum collections like this. Like, and also, by the way, sorry. I'll the last thing. I'll stop. I could go. I could literally give like a 3 hour talk about this.
Mhm.
There's also like if you go, I was at the DeYoung recently. There's if you. Oh, well, this was a couple of years ago, so I'm going to give them credit. Maybe they took it down. If you just go to any Africa or Oceania department of any museum and any anthropology museum, you're just going to see skulls.
Yeah. That's fucking
And I'm like,
crazy.
why is this on view? Why is this on view?
I know.
Take the skulls down for
These
fuck.
are
Like you're a
people. They're people.
you're a you're psychopaths, dude. Like anyway, this is a really disturbing story. Like, and it's already disturbing if this hadn't also happened. And Of
Right.
course, the Move family is outraged, like the Africa family and the Move members. Move is still going on. Go check out their website. It's still a very active organization.
For them.
They have a lot of good information on the bombing and the legacy and the protests.
Yeah.
They have made the day anniversary, May 13th, a day of remembrance,
Hmm.
which was like last week. That's pretty recent. Um,
Yeah.
so every year they have a big kind of festival with survivors, activists, community members gathering, marching through the streets. So they're really not letting their memories die.
Good.
And they obviously gave a lot of speeches when the remains thing happened about
Mhm.
like, how horrific and violent and re-traumatizing this was,
Yeah.
and it just insane. Um, so yeah, that's that.
All right. Well,
There you go.
I'm like numbed now. Like I actually had like a really visceral reaction to that, and now I'm just like I don't even know what to fucking say. Like the horrors of America and the horrors that people perpetrate against each other are like truly like unfathomable. Like I just can't even.
I mean,
God damn it.
yeah, I've got like an article in my head brewing about like head collecting. It
That's
might
a
already
good
exist, but
idea.
someone already might have written it. But like,
Right.
I don't know that I could even do the research without like vomiting.
Fair. Totally fucking fair. On that note, what are we doing
Well,
next week?
happy Monday.
Jesus Christ.
What what are we doing next week? Uh, Baby just had a strong opinion about it because he was just yelling at me. Let's see. I haven't even thought about it, Cindy. Do you want to just like live decide, or should we have a quiet
Let's live
conspiratorial
decide. No, I like to live
live decide?
decide.
Live
Live
decide.
deciding is great. What about like
Mm,
I don't know.
I had an idea. Oh, have we done joggers?
No, let's do it. Joggers.
Okay,
Doing
wanted to do
joggers.
joggers. Yeah,
Joggers.
I
Order
don't
of
I don't know if she's
joggers.
caught up with the podcast at the moment, but this can be dedicated to Susanna, my friend, who's an avid jogger too. So
Oh, that's so nice of you.
yes. Well, sure, she loves jogging, and I'm sure she thinks about it. I'm sure she carries like weaponry or something.
Oh yeah, she's smart about it, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, she could kill a man with
Not
her
that
bare
if you're
hands.
not smart about it, you should be dead, but I'm just saying. And
No,
even when you're
no, but
smart
she
about
should
it, things
also.
can happen.
Hmm.
That's not the point. The point is not to victim
Let's
blame.
do kill murder joggers.
All right,
That's
murder
what I was thinking
joggers. All right, got it. Exercise isn't always good for you.
about.
So yeah, okay, cool. We're gonna do that next week. Thanks everybody. Thanks for bearing with us while we get back in the groove. We love you all. Please like, rate, review, share with your friends and family. And until the next episode,
Stay.
off our
Please.
list. Bye.
Bye.